Hey, what's going on everyone? Ryan again with rpkcustoms.com. This is another run announcement video, and this is going to be the very last entry in my Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi resin stunt saber line. And this is the lightsaber that Luke Skywalker tossed away right after the battle or the duel with Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi, where he tosses his saber and says, "I am a Jedi like my father before me." So I did not actually know that that was a resin cast saber. Mo from the YouTube channel Sith Slayer actually pointed me in the direction of this prop. I thought this was probably the V3 or maybe the V2. I didn't really look too far into it, but he reached out and said that this was actually a resin cast saber that was made specifically for this scene. He reached out to me and told me about this saber and asked me if I would do a run, and of course I've been doing these sabers, so I jumped at it. If you guys have never seen the Sith Slayer channel, I highly recommend it. The guy has an impressive collection of both Luke thin neck sabers as well as Graflex sabers, and he's got a lot of vintage stuff as well. So go check his channel out. He's got a really good channel, but he is the one that pointed me in the direction of this piece right here. I'll give you guys a close-up look of it, and this is kind of a mashup between the two Luke Skywalker resin stunt sabers that I've been making. So this is kind of a mashup between the R2 saber and the Jabba sail barge belt hanger saber. Now, as far as the paint job, I have kind of taken some liberties because we don't really have any good clear shots of what this thing looks like. We just see it in Mark Hamill's hand. Basically, I think that's about all we see of the saber. So we get to see the neck is gold, and you do get to make out the circuit card right here is a very dark color. And judging by the R2 saber, which we do have a really close picture of, it looked like they just painted the circuit card black. You know, obviously it's cast, it's not actually a circuit card. But they painted that section black and just ran some gold traces in their appropriate positions. So that's what I did with this piece. I chose to not add a D-ring on this for the fact that if this was made specifically for Mark Hamill to toss away, they probably wouldn't add a D-ring just because it's one thing just to get hung up on his finger or his hand or something like that. And they could probably only do one take with this since it is resin. And if it didn't land right, it would probably just break and they wouldn't get another chance at doing that scene. R2 saber also does not have a D-ring, and that's because they shot it out of R2's dome. So obviously you don't want that D-ring to get caught up on, you know, any of the mechanisms inside of R2's dome. I also don't see one in the scene itself, but you know, we don't really get a good glimpse at this piece in the film. You basically just see him deactivating the saber and tossing it aside. So, you know, again, I've taken some slight liberties with the paint job, painting it to how I think it probably looked during filming. So we can also see that there is no emitter nipple on the emitter, just like the R2 saber, which we do see in the scene that this does not have an emitter nipple on it. But unlike the R2 saber, this has a solid bottom. I chose to leave a seam line on the pommel here, just because in the one shot that we do have of it, it's mostly of the back, and it does look like there is a seam running down the center of the pommel. So I chose to leave that seam in there. But other than that, you can see that this thing is pretty much a straightforward V3 paint job, essentially, with the gold neck. I did not see gold up here on the smaller part of you know, this little step right here in the emitter, so I chose not to do that. But other than that, this thing is basically a V3 paint job. And just like my other resin cast sabers, this is going to be available in both painted and raw kit. So if you want something a little bit different than this, you can pick up a raw kit and paint it yourself. So my theory is that all of these Luke Skywalker resin sabers were cast in the same mold and then modified slightly for their different usage. So, you know, the R2 saber was cast with a hollow bottom so that they could shoot it out of R2's dome. The belt hanger was just basically a standard cast, and they added a D-ring just to hang off of Mark Hamill's belt. And this one was going to be thrown by Mark Hamill after the duel, so, you know, it was really nothing fancy. They just painted it up pretty simple to make it resemble the V3. give you guys a close-up shot of the clamp card. This was just painted with a matte black, and then I painted the contact, the gold contacts right there, and then put some silver traces on that. So I'm going to be calling this the I'm a Jedi like my father before me, I guess. I don't really know what other name to give it besides Luke's throwaway or toss saber, but then I don't want to get that confused with the Last Jedi where he tossed that saber. So yeah, this is going to be the like my father before me resin stunt saber. And like I said, this is the last of the Return of the Jedi resin cast stunt prop run, or stunt prop line that I've been working on over the past year. As far as I know, there are no other resin stunt sabers that were made for that movie. And I think that'll about do it for this video. You can pick up your Like My Father Before Me resin stunt saber, as well as the R2 saber and the belt hanger saber and the Vader severed hand stunt resin sabers on my website at rpkcustoms.com. So thanks for watching, guys. May the Force be with you.